It's Tuesday. I'm the Prez. It's first pitch. Dave Cokin and Ralph Michaels with us. And well, as you can see, we're taping old school style. Funny how that works. This 50-year-old technical moron can't seem to still figure out his studio. Everything was working perfectly last week when the 20-year-old was around. But now, he went to Syracuse University and all hell broke loose. But I do have an hour meeting with him later today, and we should be ready to rock and roll tomorrow. Dave Cokin, I'm sure you missed me. What's up, brother? How are you?
Busy. It's that time of year.
Yeah, what time of year is that?
Football season.
Okay, well, yeah, I heard of football. NFL and college. You're a college football beast. I went 5-1 in NFL preseason, and that's it. I'm done. I only bet the first 2 weeks. So I'm going into the NFL season on a nice 5-0 run. And pretty excited about this year because there's so many changes all over the place. Ralph Michaels, what's up with you, brother?
I will echo Dave's sentiment. This is the exciting time. I've been so waiting for football this summer. Can't wait till Saturday and watch some college football.
Yeah. College football is very exciting. It's just all-consuming. Saturday you wake up, it starts at noon, it ends at sometimes 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. if Hawaii's playing late. It's unbelievable fun, but I'll tell you, on a whole, the college football games are so much more dramatic than the NFL games. I mean, every week you're looking at 4 or 5 endings from the gods above. But that's for another day. Dave Cokin, me, you, and Teddy will be doing a college football show every single week. We're going to start next week. Every single Tuesday, right? Are we filming on Tuesdays?
Yes.
Yeah, every single Tuesday we'll be filming and putting the show up, and we might run the show live. We're going to figure that out as we go along. And as well, next week, probably towards the end of the week, the NFL presidential address. Myself and Kelly back in full swing. We'll be doing an NFL preview show, over and under, win-loss, etc., future bets. And we'll start that towards the end of next week. I'll keep everybody posted. Before we get into the show, and we're going to take apart 5 games today in depth and then go straight to extra innings where we'll look at every single game very quickly. Let's get some business taken care of. It's $2 Tuesday at sportsmemo and wagertalk.com. And our featured handicapper today is Oskheim Sports. Oskheim Sports, I mean, just red hot. 41-19 run over the last 31 days. 41-19, that's 68.3%. Absolutely rolling right now in every direction. And you can get Oskheim Sports' baseball play for only $2 at wagertalk.com. As well, Ralph, you got a 5% MLB max play, the highest play that you have. Tell us about it.
Well, 11-3 in those 5% plays. So excited about it. Selective in baseball. I told you I've been doing some baseball, but since July the 30th, almost 21 days, I've only had 11 plays. So maybe 3 plays a week. They certainly are selective. This, a 5% play.
A must play by Ralph Michaels, just absolutely killing it. And Tony Finn has a 5% college football play up for week 1. And Dave Cokin has a college football play 5%er up for week 1 as well. And Dave, what we'll do is we'll get a promo ready in the next few days for your college football 5%er. Guys, let's get right to it. Washington playing Pittsburgh. Washington finds it opened, Dave, at -170. It's down to -147, give or take. Pittsburgh's completely out of it, but Washington holding on to the first wild card spot, 2 games up on Philadelphia. It's going to be an exciting 4 or 5 weeks left of the MLB season, especially in the National League. Dave, where are we going with this one?
Nowhere for me. It's about priced about right. 160 is the price I made. So where the market has moved, it is maybe a slight lean to Washington, but I don't want any part of the Pirates. They're basically on the no-play list at this point for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So it's Washington or nobody. Curious, the comments by Huntington, the GM of the Pirates, who basically admitted that his team just tries to build to be 50-50. I mean, what a joke.
Ralph, Pittsburgh's lost 3 in a row. They lost 13-0 to Washington, and Washington is just absolutely rolling. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. For me, I think this is Washington on the run line. I feel like Cliff Archer is just not pitching the way Cliff Archer of old pitches. We've got Strasburg on the mound. I like Washington to win this game by a lot.
Strasburg's not the same pitcher he's been. His last 6 games have all gone over the total. And, he's got a whip of 1.09, but you look at his last 3 starts, he's given up 4 runs, 3 runs, and 9 runs. I like the over, even though the Pirates have struggled, got shut out last night. You look at Archer, 5 of his last 7 games have gone over. You look at the Nationals, over the last 20 days, they're hitting 290 as a team. Those are unheard of type numbers. So with the offense, with Strasburg not being the shutdown pitcher he is, I do like the over in this game.
Yeah, it's a great call, Ralph. Washington, in their last 6 or 7 games, runs 13-16, 14-2, 17-3, 7-7. I mean, I think we can count on Washington putting up between 5 and 7 runs tonight. So I'm with you there. I like the over, too, and I like the run line. Dave, let's jump to the Milwaukee-St. Louis game. A game with a lot of ramifications. We've got Milwaukee 2.5 back in the wild card spot, and St. Louis holding on to a playoff position. This should be a hell of a series. Milwaukee came out at minus 115. It's 104 in the other direction. So St. Louis is getting a lot of money. The over and under in this game is 10. Where are you going here, brother?
I'll say the same thing I said yesterday, which is just the Brewers are just not a team that I want to be on right now. I don't trust Michael Walker to any extent, I can tell you that. But the Cardinals are the only side to look at for me. Gio Gonzalez can be okay. You can go out there and give him 6 innings, 5 innings, maybe a couple of times through the order. And I'm not really excited about betting against Gio or on Walker, but this is team stuff.
Yeah.
Where you get the Cardinals who have taken off. They look like a team that right now could win that division, and the Brewers don't. The Brewers are having a lot of problems in the bullpen. Josh Hader, who was a complete shutdown maniac, just isn't at this point, and it's changed the whole makeup of the Brewers, particularly when you've got a pitcher like Gonzalez on the mound, because going in, you're probably going to need 4 innings out of the bullpen, and the Brewers' bullpen is really untrustworthy at this point. So to me, the Cardinals look like the side.
I'm with you, Dave, and I know we've lost a little bit of value on the line move, but I honestly don't think it matters. Cardinals have won 2 in a row. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They're a half game up on the Cubs. And you're right, Milwaukee's just not playing good ball. I agree 100%. I like St. Louis here. Ralph, talk to us, brother.
I don't know what to make of the Brewers. They score 1 run against Corbin, then they score 15 and 8 against Sanchez and Fetty, and then they get 1 hit shutout last night. So, I am not a fan of Waka. I tend to think that this game, I look at under for the first 5. Waka has gone under the last 5 starts despite having a whip of 1.6. As Dave said, Gio Gonzalez is a 4 or 5 inning pitcher. He's been doing fine getting through those rotations, holding 3 of his last 4 to 2 runs or less. I'm looking to go under the first 5 in this game.
He's Ralph Michaels, Dave Cokin with us. You're watching First Pitch, everybody. You're watching it old school style. I promise you we're going to have the studio up and running by tomorrow. There's only one thing left I have to learn how to do. Real quick, everyone, as we mentioned at the top of the show, Oskheim Sports is the $2 handicapper over at wagertalk.com. Every Tuesday, we single out one handicapper at WagerTalk and one handicapper at Sports Memo. We make their play $2. They're usually the hottest handicapper we have, and Oskheim Sports is on a 41-19 run, which is just ludicrous. Oh, Ralph, to be on a 41-19 NFL football run. Well, he's on a 40-19 baseball run. He's got a baseball play up tonight. It's at wagertalk.com for only $2. Dave, let's talk about the Yankees. New York on the road. They came out at minus 140 against Oakland. It's down there. There's a number. There's a 122 at our friends at Heritage Sports. The over and under is 9.5. The Yankees, like always, are playing exceptional ball. They've won 7 of 9, but they did lose their last game to Cleveland. But Oakland right there with them. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. And Oakland is in the hunt. They're only 1 game back on Tampa Bay. I don't think they want to get into some extended losing streak. Where are you going in this one?
You know, what this comes down to is how much do you trust Homer Bailey? And the answer for me is not much. Bailey has had some good outings with Oakland, but there's not much in between with him.
Yeah.
And when he goes bad, which often happens against good lineups, he goes really bad. And he's facing a very potent lineup here. The Yankees do nothing except win when Herman's on the mound. And I would look for them to win this game. I actually don't agree with the line movement in this game, which is, I know it's sharp money showing on Oakland, but just because it's sharp money doesn't mean it's a winning money. And I would have to side with the Yankees in this game. I think at the price, kind of getting attracted.
Yeah, Dave, jump to Ralph. Dave, you're totally right on the Homer Bailey. I mean, last pit outing, great outing against San Fran, pitched 7 innings, and the one before against the Cubs couldn't make it to the 5th and got slaughtered. Ralph, I like the over in this game, 9.5 across the board. You know, the Yankees are always hitting the ball well, but if you look at the A's over their last 4 or 5 games, they're seeing the ball 2 at the plate. I can see this game going over 9.5. What do you think?
Well, you know, going back to September of last year, the Yankees on the road, 47-17. That sounds like that record you were talking about a little while ago.
Well, that's better than Oskim's 41-19 record.
73% to the over when the Yankees are on the road. And then you look at Erman. In his 11 starts on the road, they've gone over 8. He's got a 5.58 road ERA compared to 2.45 at home. I agree with you, Prez, on the over.
Philadelphia at Boston. Boston's done for the season, but Dave called that a long time ago. Line came out at Philly at minus 115. It's been bet around, Dave. You've got Boston now at minus 108 with an over and under of 11. Philadelphia 2 games back on the Cubs. They're in need of a nice, fat, juicy win streak. They've lost 2 in a row, both to San Diego. And Boston, although rolling 5 in a row right now, just got some awful news about with Chris Sale.
Actually, it was better news than they thought.
Okay, but he is out, right?
Well, he's out. But the thought was that he's going to have Tommy John surgery and that he'd miss 2020. And that, at least for now, does not appear to be the case. So he's done for the year, but that's, that's a win if he's back for 2020.
I mean, look, miracles can happen. They're 6 games behind Tampa Bay for the wild card, but I think that emotionally they've got to be spent. Where are you going in this game?
Well, and the Phillies can smash lefties, but the Phillies are playing lousy baseball. They just have not been able to put together that kind of stretch that makes you think, yeah, this is a playoff caliber team. You look at their lineup and there's not a lot of holes in the lineup, but they just haven't put it together. Aaron Nola, of course, is their best pitcher. And if you look at Nola versus Johnson, well, rather obviously it's a fairly clear edge for Aaron Nola, but that's the only edge that I see. The Red Sox are hitting the crap out of the baseball once again. Devers, who is having an MVP type of season. Bogarts has been sensational. There's nothing wrong with Betts or Gonzalez. The Red Sox at Fenway are getting the action here, and I don't disagree with it because outside of Nola, Boston comes up with all the check marks in this game. So I would lean to the Red Sox, certainly.
Ralph, I'm going to pass outright on this game. What do you like?
Well, I have a free play on the Red Sox up at wagertalk.com. I'm with Dave. Yeah, I give Nola an advantage pitching, but, he's off a Cubs performance where he gave up 1 run. He hasn't had those back-to-back great games of late. You got a Red Sox team hitting .350 over the last 5 days, .317 over the last 10. And you have a Red Sox team now relaxed, knowing they're out of it. Yes, they played the Orioles, but 5 straight wins after beating the Indians twice. Phillies, not a good away dog. They're only 10-24 as an away dog this year. And they're coming off the home stretch of the Cubs and the Padres, the first road game. I like Boston.
Guys, before we get into the last game and then extra innings, let's talk a little bit about the Gold Sheet. We've spoken about them throughout the summer. We were very, very excited to become the new owners of the Gold Sheet. This is probably the longest sports gambling publication on the planet. Started in the 1950s. There's lots of options. If you head over to goldsheet.com, you can buy weekly, monthly, seasonal. You're going to be getting a newsletter every week, depending on whether it's college football or NFL. It takes a look at every single game. It also provides you with some incredible handicapping tools, and it's as low as $9 a week. I just want to let everybody know, any amount of money you spend at the Gold Sheet buying their subscriptions, we will literally match the exact same amount in wager bucks to use over at wagertalk.com. So basically, you're getting the Gold Sheet for free, and it's only offered to the listeners of First Pitch. Ralph and Dave, do you have anything to add about the Gold Sheet? I mean, Dave, it might be older than you.
It's probably about the same age because it's been around that long. No, it's been a great publication forever, starting with Mort Olson and being carried through by Gary and Bruce Marshall and all the guys, and it's fabulous. Great information. I've never gone more than a week without seeing it. Let's put it that way. It's still a valuable tool.
Yeah, and just to let everyone know, both Gary and Bruce have been retained, so the actual Gold Sheet will remain in the style that it is. But Ralph Michaels will also be helping out, so expect the same incredible content that you've always expected from the Gold Sheet. Ralph, any quick thoughts about the Gold Sheet?
You stole my line, and I think that's the most important thing, is the continued continuity of what readers are accustomed to. We had Bruce in studio last week, and just hearing Bruce talk with Kelly, he was talking about preseason football, and he tangented into a story about the Jets and the preseason game in the 60s, and the knowledge and the stories those guys have is just amazing, and it truly is an honor to listen to them, and I think we're blessed to have them, and I'm thrilled to be just a very small part of it.
Well, one of the things I really have always admired and enjoyed about the Gold Sheet is that there's humor in it. There's pop culture references, etc., etc. So it is not a dry read by any stretch of the imagination. Guys, head over to thegoldsheet.com. We will have a new Gold Sheet website up, hopefully sometime in October. The current one is an embarrassment, but what can you do? All hands are on deck, just integrating the business into what we're doing. But we will have a new website up. Head over to the Gold Sheet. Buy anything you want over there, and then email Missy at wagertalk.com. That's MISSY at wagertalk.com. Show her your receipt, and she'll match whatever you spent in wager bucks. Last game before extra innings, we're going to talk about the Cleveland Indians versus the New York Mets. Cleveland came out at minus 140. Very small amount of money on them. It has gone up to 144. The over and under in this game is 8. And the New York Mets, Dave, still hanging in. They're 2 games back on the Cubs for the last wild card. But this team has made it fun for their fans. I expected a tail off by them. And Cleveland, they were up on Minnesota, but they have fallen back of late. They've lost 4 of their last 6 games. The Mets have won their last 2. Where are we going, my friend?
I think the price is a little too high, but I'm not really anxious to go against Shane Bieber. The Mets haven't seen him, and he could be a handful, especially with that slider that he's got. Matz has been pretty good at home. Indians can hit lefties. I think the Indians win, but I would not recommend laying a price in the mid-140s. I think you're paying way too much of a premium. The value here, if you're looking strictly at value, would be with the Mets. But I think the Indians will win. So, I'm kind of nowhere in the game.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I think the Mets are a live dog at home, but I think the Indians are going to win too. I'm passing on this game like I did the Boston game. Ralph Michaels?
Well, again, me being an Indians fan and Bieber with a 1.00 whip. I mean, there's only a handful of pitchers that are starting pitchers with a 1.0 whip or less on the season. But I agree with Dave. The line's too high. Steven Matz is 5-0 at home. He's got a 2.18 ERA. He's got a 1.0 whip. The Mets are 7-2 in his starts. I like the under, despite both teams hitting well. I mean, over the last 5 games, you look at what the Indians did and what the Mets did against the Royals. I think this is a situation where you had teams that hit well against poor pitchers. Now all of a sudden you're going to see good hitting teams against good pitchers, and I think the offense is going to struggle tonight. I like the under.
He's Ralph Michaels, Dave Cokin with us. Tomorrow's show, probably, because I have to reach out to him, will be Mid-Major Matt and Dave Cokin. And we're going to be taping a little early tomorrow, so hopefully the show will be up by 1 p.m. Eastern. Guys, it's time for extra innings, 15, 20 seconds each game. San Diego, Cincinnati, line move, Cincinnati minus 170. It's down to 153 at Bet Online. That's the lowest number I can see, a 152 at Grande. Dave Cokin, talk to me.
I'm in at 150, so it's a no play for me.
Ralph Michaels.
The Padres 9-7 as an away dog, a winning record. Quantrill's last 6 outings, a 1.7 ERA. Line's too high.
Ralph, we've decided to drop Cal Sports. So I'm never referring to you as Cal Sports again. You are Ralph Michaels, and you always will be.
It is changed on the website. They will no longer find and be able to buy Cal Sports, but they will only be able to buy Ralph Michaels.
Good.
What about on Twitter? What about on Twitter?
It's still at Cal Sports LV.
Yeah,
okay.
It's too hard. It's too hard to make the Twitter change.
Okay.
Massive line move in the Atlanta game, Dave. Minus 325. It's down to minus 255 at 5 times. 9.5 on the board. Go.
Math guys are going to be all over Miami because it was too high. It's that simple. I mean, the right price in this game is probably about $2 because Keuchel hasn't been that good. But so it comes down to that. If you like past tense, the idea of just grabbing pure value, then Miami was the play. It's probably not now because you've already lost 40 cents of value.
Yeah.
But it's still the line's still too high.
Yeah, I'm passing on this game. Ralph Michaels.
Miami 2-18, their last 20 as an away dog. Either you're going to play Keuchel on the run line, or pass.
Dave, another big line is Cubs minus 190. It hasn't moved. It's over and under of 10.5. I think the Cubs are going to win, but I don't think there's a lot of value here.
No, I would not value, but Cubs should win the game. Tyler Beatty's terrible. And you would think that Hamels will get back on track after a very bad outing last time out. And the Cubs continue to be very good at home.
Ralph?
First career start for Beatty at Chicago at Wrigley. Beatty 0-4 with an 8.5 ERA his last 5 starts. And over?
Over 10.5. Colorado, Arizona. Came out at minus 155 to the home team, Arizona. It's pretty much stayed around the same. The lowest I can find is minus 142 at Grande. We have a couple of 9.5s, but mostly the over and under is 10. I like Arizona in this spot, Dave.
Freeland's showing some signs of coming around a little bit for the Rockies. Second look now at the Rockies against Young. I think teams will do better against him second time around. I don't think his stuff's all that great. I would lean to the Rockies here.
Ralph?
Freeland's changeup is making a difference. That's what they say. But against lefties, the Diamondbacks 20-17 this year. The Rockies 20-27.
Kansas City against Baltimore, a game for the ages. Kansas City came out at minus 115. It's been bet all around. Minus 122 for Bundy and the Birds.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the line move. I think the Orioles are the right side in the game. Whether I'm actually going to bet it or not, I don't know. I have a tendency not to want to get involved in games like this, but just in terms of the matchup, I think the Orioles probably should be about 130. So I'm not surprised the line moved, and it's not a great value now because you're only really getting about a dime. But the earlier line, certainly there was value on the Orioles.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 72% of the tickets are being written on Baltimore.
I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah, we know you don't give a shit about it, Dave Cokin.
No, I don't. I mean, I think it's...
But some people might.
If you want to guarantee yourself losing money, keep looking at the betting percentages. They don't mean a thing.
Well, how about just bet the other side of them then, Dave?
No, then you'll lose. Then you'll also lose. But if you bet the other side of the bet percentages in baseball this year, you're broke. You're broke. You're done. You're out of action for the rest of your life.
Forever. You've lost your house. You've sold your children. Yes. Your 2 daughters are in slavery. You'll never eat again.
It's not a joke. I mean, you can ask any book, and what they're doing is they're getting killed. Okay, they're getting absolutely massacred because the public sides have been winning and winning and winning and winning, and there's just no stopping.
Well, and you said, well, then bet the public sides. Anyway, whatever, Dave. I'm just giving the
look. All I'm telling you, if you want to fuck around, that's fine. I'm trying to give you some good handicapping advice for the people who are listening.
Dave?
Don't look at bet. First of all, the bet percentages might not be reliable because they might only reflect 1 or 2 shops. So you don't know if they're accurate or not. Second thing is, if you're playing this pros versus Joes nonsense, which is what it is, you're almost always getting the worst of the line because you're getting it after the sharps have already hit it, which means that I don't care what sport it is, you're giving up value right away. There's one outfit out there that does, and people probably know who they are. They make a real big deal about this is how you bet. No, it's not. Okay? And if you follow that advice, you are going to lose money. It's as simple as that. If you continuously sacrifice value, you will lose in the long run.
Guys, Dave Cokin has been on the radio and TV for about 400 years. He's gone through many hosts. I think I bring the best out in him. Ralph, what do you like in this game?
Well, Baltimore now 1-2 as a home favorite this year. 1-2 this season as a home favorite. But here's a trend. It doesn't mean much. Orioles are 7-0 when Bundy's a favorite in August.
Wow.
Okay.
That's almost as good as the, not quite, as the Jordan Lyles July stat, which finally ended when he got traded. I think he was 0-18.
Yeah.
Boys, Seattle, Tampa Bay, undecided pitcher for Seattle still. Dave, do you want to skip it?
Malone will be the primary. They haven't decided who's going to open. But that's, no, I'm passing.
Ralph?
Yeah, I mean, Ray's struggling to hit. They're hitting 215 the last 10 days. If you want to take a flyer on Seattle's gone 5-4 the last 10 days.
LA Angels versus Texas, minus 130 to the road team. Over and under of 12. There are a couple of 11.5s on tap. Dave Cokin, I go to you first.
Second game of a doubleheader.
Then,
but I did play this game. And if you want to find out who I played, It's a free play. It's the first 5 free play at Wager Talk. So just go to whatever page you have to go to get my free plays, and it's right there with one sentence of it. It's not even analysis.
Oh, I'm racing to the site. Ralph Michaels, talk to me.
It's a bet I made.
Oh, you put your own money on it?
I don't give out a play if I didn't bet on it.
Ralph Michaels?
Every play I give out, which every single play, 100% of the plays that I post at Wager Talk, I bet myself.
Well, let's talk about that really quick. I bet every single play I put out at Wager Talk. I also bet all of your college football. I bet Carmine's hockey plays. I bet all the WNBA guys, Bobby Liggs, Hakeem. I bet all the Canadian football guys. But I do not bet all my free picks. Some of them I do, but not all of them. Ralph, you want to add to that?
I bet every play I put out, with the exception of a free play when you have a 5% play. We want a 5. When you have a 5% play, they want a free play out for publicity. So that is a forced.
Can we call it promotion, not publicity?
I understand, but during the football season, if I have a free play, I bet it. During the college basketball season, if I have a free play, I bet it. The only time I don't bet it is a 5% baseball play because, again, baseball, as I said, 7 plays in 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I don't have that many baseball plays, so I'm very particular on those.
It's funny. I should actually put up on Twitter everybody I bet because I bet all of your college basketball blindly as well. Ralph, do you want to talk about this LA-Texas second game?
I don't. I've had such bad luck with doubleheaders and second games and the lineups. Dave follows those type of lineups closer than I do, and that's where, if you're not into it 100%, betting that second game of the doubleheader is so reliant on what the lineups are and who played in the first. So if Dave has no play, I have no play.
No, I did play this second game, but it's an angle I follow religiously, and it happens to go up in this game.
Ralph, before we get into the last few games, a real quick announcement, everybody. Teddy and Ralph will be doing a show every single day, right, Ralph? Monday to Friday, 1 hour long. Do you want to talk a little bit about that, or you're not ready yet?
Well, it is. We're doing a couple soft schedules the end of this week. We're going to start next week. It's at sportsgrid.com. Of course, they're associated with FanDuel. They're in major sports books. We'll be on at noon Pacific. An hour segment with multiple segments broken up, going over some bad beats, some recaps, looking forward at some games, having some best bets. The format's still going to change a bit. We're talking about a brand new program in the first week. So what viewers reach out and tell us they like and don't like will be very important the first few weeks of this show as we're going to adjust it to what they want to see.
That should be good.
Yeah, there's so much content coming out of Wager Talk, Dave. We're going to talk a little bit about it tomorrow. We've hired the next Kelly. Nobody's the next Kelly. Kelly's as good as it gets. But we have hired another host for our studio shows. We'll talk about that tomorrow, so make sure to tune in. Dave, Minnesota minus anywhere from 195 to 220, playing against the White Sox. Total 9.5. Talk to me.
I made it 185 Twins. So
pass for Dave. Ralph?
Twins don't lose very often as a big favorite at home against division foes. I like them here coming off the loss to the White Sox last night.
Houston, Sanchez versus Turnbull, minus 280, 260 to 280 with an over and under of 9. Massive line move. It started at minus 370. Dave?
Turnbull looks like he's hit the wall. Houston got a contest from the Tigers last night. Might be easier tonight.
Ralph, before we get to the last game.
Turnbull, in his last 10 starts, the Tigers are 0-10. I'll tell you what, I would love to play against Aaron Sanchez with these hugely inflated lines. Just can't tonight with the Tigers.
A last game on tap, Toronto against the Dodgers, another massive favorite, minus 320 for Kershaw, over and under 8.5. Dave?
Reed Foley's really excited about going against Kershaw. Said so. It's a big thrill for him. And that's the only thing I have to say in the game.
Ralph?
Well, again, you look at what Reed Foley's done his last 5 starts. He gave up 3 runs in his last start, but his prior 4 starts, he gave up a total of 4 runs. If you want to take a flyer with the run line. But, Kershaw looks back to Kershaw. Sub 2.7 ERA, a 1.0 whip, 7 straight wins. And in the span of his last 7 starts, he has yet to give up over 2 runs in any one start.
He's Ralph Michaels, Dave Cokin with us. I'm the Prez. This is First Pitch. You can find us every day, Monday to Friday, at our YouTube channel, Wager Talk TV, the largest sports handicapping channel on the planet. Make sure to tune in to cough. Make sure to tune in tomorrow. We're going to go through some of our upcoming content, and make sure to head over to wagertalk.com and get down on Osgeim's $2 play, as well as Ralph's 5% max bet, both in baseball. Boys, outstanding show. Pleasure to be back. A real emotional yet fun 3-4 days for me in New York. Dropped my kid off at FIT in Chelsea. I'm excited for her. But I'm excited to be back, and I'm excited for football. I can smell it. That's the show, boys. Prez out.